sit down.
Back in the day, there was barely any LGBTQ representation in the media. The representation of gays and lesbians in Hollywood films from the 1890s to the 1980s argues that Hollywood's portrayal of lesbians and gay men has often been cruel and homophobic. They had essentially no character development, and their sexuality was their whole character's personality. In Hollywood's early years, from the 1890s to the 1930s, homosexuality was often represented as object of ridicule and laughter. Gay men were stereotyped as flamboyant and extremely feminine. From the 1930s to the 1950s, religious and women's groups criticized Hollywood films for contributing to immorality. During these years, films could not feature overtly homosexual characters. They had to show it through their mannerisms and personality. In 2005, Brokeback Mountain grossed over $178 million, proving that movies portraying queer people could be lucrative for large studios. With that being said, the film has received mixed reactions from within queer communities on the grounds that movies about straight acting gay men who barely do it and who cannot even accept their own desires is hardly a gay movie at all. In the 90s, new queer cinema challenged established notions that queer validity could only come through assimilation into mainstream heterosexual society. LGBTQ representation in the mainstream media has made strides forward in the past decade. Hollywood still hasn't gotten transgender representation quite right. The company GLAAD had found that most transgender actors were as the victim. This is hard for transgender individuals who, for the most part, are seen as silly or inconsequential objects of seeing them as complex human beings who are embracing their true identities. They are also depicted as all having the answers and knowing who they fully are, or to be the sexual interest of the main character. Normally, trans actors are not the main characters. Taking inspiration from the Bichel test, which examines the way female characters are portrayed and situated with a narrative, GLAAD developed its own set of criteria to analyze how LGBTQ characters are included within a film. The Vito-Russo test takes its name from the celebrated film historian and GLAAD co-founder Vito Russo, whose book The Celluloid Closet remains a foundational analysis of LGBTQ portrayals in Hollywood films. These criteria can help guide filmmakers to create more multi-dimensional characters while also providing a barometer for representation on a wide scale. This test represents a standard GLAAD would like to see a greater number of mainstream Hollywood films reach in the future. To pass the Vito-Russo test, the following must be true. The film contains a character that is identifiably lesbian, gay, bisexual, and or transgender, solely or predominantly to be defined by their sexual orientation or gender identity, i.e., they are made up of the same sort of unique character traits commonly used to identify straight characters from one another. The LGBTQ character must be tied into the plot in such a way that their removal would have a significant effect, meaning they are not there to simply provide colorful commentary, paint urban authenticity, or perhaps most commonly, set up the punchline. The characters should matter. There's so much work to be done on LGBTQ conclusions and representation in the media, but there are so many good things to come in the future.